If any white man in the world says, give me liberty or give me death, the entire white world applauds. When a black man says exactly the same thing, he is judged a criminal and treated like one, and everything possible is done to make an example of this bad nigger so there won't be any more like him.
The story of the Negro in America is the story of America. It is not a pretty story.
I'm still blown away. James Baldwin, one of the most celebrated, one of the greatest intellectuals of our time. You have brought forth his voice, his own narrative, in this amazing documentary, I Am Not Your Negro. What was the impetus for you to decide to do a documentary using his own voice, James Baldwin's own voice? I mean, that's amazing.
It was a long process between the time where I read Baldwin at a very young age. I was probably 16, 17, and he made a difference in my life. And in fact, Baldwin never left me. I used him. I went back to him in hard times. I went back to him when I wanted to understand a particular issue. I use him in some of my other films. So he was somehow part of my life, like he have been the part of the life of many people of my generation, because there were not that many authors you could feel, you owned. There was not many authors that have that kind of celebrity and that kind of presence in the press, in the literary world, in politics, where you could always look up to, who you felt were representing you. You see in the film
it's
when
amazing. It's amazing.
He goes in the Dick Cavett show.
So the first time you're reading James Baldwin, was it The Fire Next Time?
Probably, because that was, I think, the easiest book to step in Baldwin. And
so that was 1963. How old were you in 1963 when James Baldwin came up with The Fire Next Time?
I don't know, but I must have read it maybe later.
Later?
Yes.
Okay.
I was too young, 1963.
Okay. So when you read it for the first time, what resonated with you about that book?
It's a very strange moment where, where thoughts that you have intuitively becomes real, but in the form of the thinking of a great writer, where you felt, wow, that's what I felt, but could not find words for it, and did not see the context of it, did not see the real meaning of it, and that it was inside a bigger story.
Okay.
Baldwin helps you put things into place and see yourself and your story into the bigger picture.
What was the determining factor in deciding to use his own voice versus, going the way of interviewing, his contemporaries who may still be with us to talk about Baldwin? Like, what was that deciding factor for you?
Well, the very idea of the film was to put Baldwin on the front line.
Okay.
His words on the front line. I didn't want any intermediary. I didn't want any interpreter. I didn't want any talking heads. He had to be in front because those are his words. He owned that place, and we should give him the whole place with nobody in those 90 minutes talking in his place. So that was the challenge, of course, because you had to have the proper material, you have to use it the proper way, you have to invent a way of not having a narrator or not having a voiceover, but having a character with him telling you the story. The story is told immediately from Baldwin's point of view. Nothing in between. Nobody is in between. So it's a direct confrontation between the audience and him.
So in terms of the narrator, I was shocked to learn that Samuel Jackson, of all people, is portraying or is doing the voice. So what was it that made you decide to go with Samuel Jackson versus some of the other talent that was out there?
Yes, it was a choice. And on my list, there were 3 names. And don't ask me, I will not tell you the 3 names.
No.
But Samuel Jackson was the first on that list.
He did an amazing job.
And he accepted quite quickly. And so I didn't have to go to the 2 other ones. But I was looking for somebody not only famous, not only a great actor, but I also wanted somebody who has some sort of street credibility as a human being, somebody who I've heard talking about his life or about himself and was very clear about his place in this world. No matter what some people might think about the film he did, but he's much more than that. And that credibility, I think, was important for the film. And in fact, he got it. He knew immediately what I wanted for this film. And he was as well humble enough to sit back and let the words play and put his own self into those words and make sure that they were believable, they were truth, they were emotional. And that's a great job to do. That's not easy to do either.
Well, you did an amazing job. I'm so excited that you have introduced James Baldwin to a brand new generation of young people who definitely need to hear his voice. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you today, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There are days when you wonder what your role is in this country and what your future is in it. I can't be a pessimist because I'm alive. The question you got to ask yourself, the white population of this country's got to ask itself, is why it was necessary to have a nigger in the first place. Because I'm not a nigger, I'm a man. But if you think I'm a nigger, it means you need it. And you got to find out why. And the future of the country depends on that.